Let's have some more news. Thanks for joining us on our Friday news again this week. The villages who seek FEMA reimbursement for hurricane debris collection. Golf courses in the villages may be closed for several weeks. The villages makes an unusual request to de-annex 230 acres from Wildwood. Residents of the villages warned hurricane debris collection will take weeks. A villager crashes a new Tesla into a neighbor's home. A villager allegedly turned off the neighbor's generator during the hurricane. A vacant home, subject of public hearing for second time this year. Sanitary sewer system work will bring construction traffic and detours. A homeless man was arrested at Panera restaurant in the villages. A mystery joyrider leaves behind damage at golf course in the villages. We have pictures. CDDs in the villages to see relief from a huge Seco pole rental hike. A villager armed with a large knife allegedly threatens her husband. How many holes one's a golf to get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Morning, everybody. I'm just getting started. Sue's off for a ladies' lunch this morning, so hopefully I can at least get this part of it done. This is an update. We don't have very many updates this week. Been a slow week for updates, I guess. That's a good thing, right? Speeding villager who refused to provide a breath sample after he was caught speeding in a Lexus has escaped a drunk driving conviction. Richard Frederick Ebrot, 60, of the village of Pennycamp pleaded no contest to a less serious charge of reckless driving earlier this month in Marion County Court, allowing him to avoid a conviction of a charge of driving under the influence. He had been placed on probation for 12 months and was ordered to perform 40 hours of community service. And that's his update. A villager allegedly turned off his neighbor's generator in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton. A resident of the 1400 block of West Swartz Boulevard on the historic side of the village has reported that his generator was shut off at about 11 p.m. Thursday, according to an arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. The historic side of the village has suffered widespread power outages in the wake of the hurricane, and the power outage triggered a sanitary system spill at Lake Paradise. The villager was running a generator on his carport when it suddenly shut off. The villager restarted the generator, but when it happened a second time, he grabbed a flashlight and looked out the window. He saw 63-year-old Scott Rothkrantz of 1417 West Swartz Boulevard running from the scene and back to his home. The homeowner also noticed 2 trash cans missing from his home. When police spoke to Rothkrantz, the New York native denied taking the trash cans. Rothkrantz was instructed to stay off the neighbor's property. The trash cans were retrieved and returned to their proper place. The police officer parked near the neighboring residence and waited. The officer saw Rothkrantz return to his neighbor's property and remove the trash cans again. He was arrested on a charge of trespassing. He was booked at the Lake County Jail and released after posting a $1,000 bond. I swear, some people. Okay, I believe this is going to be the last report that I'm going to make anyway about some things going on about the hurricane, at least in this week's news. The villages will apply for money from the Federal Emergency Management Agency for damage to the boardwalk at Lake Sumter Landing. I didn't do any video of it. I know there's probably been a half a dozen people just run right up there and take a bunch of videos to show you something, and so I didn't waste my time. The village's district manager, Kenny Blockard, has confirmed that FEMA money will be sought for flooding damage inflicted by Hurricane Milton. It was announced last week that money will be sought from FEMA for storm debris collection in the villages. Over the weekend, Sumter County officials confirmed that FEMA relief money has been approved by the White House for the recovery from Hurricane Milton. The boardwalk at Lake Sumter Landing was flooded as a result of the hurricane, which brought an estimated 16 inches of rain. Think about that. 16 inches of rain. The Project-wide advisory committee has already been considering a $3 million makeover at the Lake Sumter Landing Boardwalk. The project would be paid for with amenity dollars paid by residents. If FEMA money is received for boardwalk repairs, the federal dollars could offset some of the cost of the project. Whatever we get from FEMA will be applied to that project, Blocker told members of the PWAC on Monday at Seabreeze Recreation Center. PWAC member Peter Moeller, a Community Development District 6 supervisor, pointed out that PWAC has not officially signed off on the $3 million project, although it has approved $225,000 in engineering and design fees for the project. And I'm not going to say a lot about it, but I can tell you the FEMA money is controversial by some people. And I understand it, I get it, but you need to think about what you're saying. Every city that's been affected by this hurricane gets this emergency money, including residents. If a tree fell against your house, you're due for this emergency money. Some people say the villages shouldn't get it because they're worth billions of dollars. You have to remember, when you say the villages, we're not talking about the developer. The villages is a city. I've mentioned this a million times. You have Miami, Florida. You have Daytona, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida. Gainesville, Florida. The villages, Florida. You can't discriminate a city from another city saying, well, Jacksonville can have this money, but the villages can't have it because the developers there have a lot of money. Do you kind of understand? All right, I'll get out of here. I won't say no more. The villages will seek Federal Emergency Management Agency reimbursement for debris collection and disposal as a result of Hurricane Milton. Officials with the district government are warning that collection of the debris may take longer than what residents may be anticipating. We're already getting calls from residents who say, "You forgot to pick up my debris." District Deputy Manager Carrie Duckett told officials during meetings Friday at Savannah Center. Hurricane Milton pummeled the villages and left behind plenty of debris. A FEMA-approved contractor will come to the villages and collect all of the debris, including those stacked outside their homes by residents, beginning October 20th. Duckett warned that residents will need to be ready because the debris hauler won't come back for a second run. The villages had a difficult time with debris collection after Hurricane Irma in 2017. The contracted hauler headed south for more lucrative work, leaving debris stacked for many weeks near driveways throughout the villages. Frustrated residents started dumping debris at facilities like recreation centers and postal stations, and the FEMA reimbursement seemed to take an eternity. The district government is hoping for a better outcome this time. Stricter contracts have been negotiated for debris pickup, and officials are trying to set reasonable expectations for collection. Important notes about pickup. Storm-related tree vegetation debris should be piled at the road right-of-way, which is usually the 6 to 10-foot grassy area of residential front lawns behind the curb area. Debris may not be placed on the road or multimodal paths. Collectors will not pick it up. Resident storm-related debris should be piled up by October 20th for pickup by the contractor debris management company. After that date, residents will need to remove their own stored debris, as the contractor will perform only one sweep through each unit. District property manager will post a schedule on postal stations for which each district should anticipate pickup within their area. Do not drop storm-related debris on the roadway or recreation centers. The debris collection contractor will not pick it up. Do not use plastic bags for storm-related debris. Leave it unbagged or use paper biodegradable bags only. Now that sounds clear to me, but what do you want to bet? There's people out there that are not going to listen to anything. They'll just do whatever they do like they did before. Residents of the villages are being warned that hurricane debris collection will take time. Due to the overwhelming demand created by Hurricane Helene and Milton, there is a shortage of debris collection and removal services across multiple states. It will take several weeks or longer to collect and thoroughly remove all the storm-related debris. Given the amount of tree and vegetation debris within the villages, residents should expect a lengthy process for debris collection and removal depending on the area they reside in within the villages. The villages district government said in a statement, funding for debris collection is being sought through the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Here are some important points for residents to remember. Storm-related tree vegetation debris should be piled in the road right-of-way, which is usually 6 to 10 feet from the grassy area of residential front lawns behind a curb area. Debris may not be placed in the road or multimodal paths. Collectors will not pick it up. Resident storm-related debris should be piled up by October 20th for pickup by the contractor's debris management company. After that date, residents will have to remove their own debris, as the contractors will perform a one-time sweep-through in your area. District Property Management will post a schedule on postal stations for when each district should anticipate pickup within their area. Jacobs will continue to pick up lawn clippings and residential lawn waste. They will not pick up storm-related debris. Do not place household garbage and or other debris for pickup. The debris collection contractors will not pick it up. In other words, don't throw your trash on top, your garbage on top of the storm-related debris. Do not drop storm-related debris on the roadway or recreation centers. The debris collection contractor will not pick it up. Do not use plastic bags for storm-related debris. Leave it unbagged or use paper biodegradable bags only. Now, I read this twice. I realized that, so don't send me any comments. I did that to show you these are 2 different days, and they've already warned us twice. And let's see how many actually follow the rules. It may take several weeks for all executive golf courses in the villages to reopen in the wake of Hurricane Milton. All championship and executive golf courses will remain closed until further notice for post-storm recovery and stormwater mitigation efforts. Tee times will be scheduled once post-storm assessments have been made and courses are deemed safe for play. The following driving ranges are now open. Nancy Lopez, Palmer Legends, and Sarasota Golf Practice driving ranges are now open. Officials are hoping that carp, rather than chemicals, could solve problems at a pond in the villages. Villagers living on the pond on Palo Alto Avenue near the Tierra del Sol Recreation Center contend the pond has become overwhelmed by algae, hydrilla, and odor. They took their concerns to the Community Development District 1 Board of Supervisors on Friday morning at Savannah Center. We bought our lot because we loved the water view, said Tom Athumo, who purchased his home in 2001. He said he and his wife have had the thrill of watching the Florida panther catch a duck at the pond. That's a thrill, watching the panther kill a duck. However, the wildlife has disappeared because of the poor condition of the pond. Apparently, the company that took over the treatment of the ponds in the villages, Cross Creek Environmental Incorporated, has been trying to treat the pond with chemicals. Residents say the chemicals are not working. Cross Creek was hired for pond maintenance when officials objected to the price increase from the previous contractor, Solitude Lake Management, LLC. The lake has been maintained well in the past, but not this year. What does that tell you? You get what you pay for. Assistant District Manager Bruce Brown said that the amount of chemicals that can be used in a retention pond basin is limited, and Cross Creek has reached that limit. Therefore, there are 2 other options: introducing carp into the pond to each of the hydrilla, or to use mechanical raking to remove the unwanted vegetation growing in the pond. Carp would be a far cheaper option, Brown said. Mechanical raking would be very expensive. Carp are often effective options. They eat the hydrilla. Supervisor Judy Bibishmeyer said the board needed to take action. This lake has been like this for almost an entire year, she said. The neighbors are running out of patience. The board agreed to move ahead with the carp and take another look at the condition of the pond during next month's CDD1 meeting. John West has lived for 21 years on the pond and warned that the carp might not solve the problem. Behind my house, it looks like a swamp. The carp can take care of the hydrilla, but you're going to have to scoop the stuff off the top. They won't eat the dead weeds. The chemicals may kill it, but it won't get rid of the swamp look. Well, only thing I got to say, if you're running out of options, you got to try something. I only say this: as long as the carp can't accidentally escape from that pond and go to a lake or someplace, and then all of a sudden outbreed everything there, eat all the native local fish. That's happened many, many places in Florida, and then we end up paying the price down the road. So as long as they can't get out, I got no problem with it. Because if push comes to shove, we'll take them carp out and we'll eat them. A homeless man was arrested at Panera Restaurant in the Villages. A Lady Lake police officer was on patrol at about 1 a.m. Friday when he noticed two men loitering outside the Panera Restaurant on Main Street in Spanish Springs. A K-9 unit was summoned to the scene, according to the arrest report from Lady Lake Police Department. The dog alerted on a bag carried by one of the men, later identified as 51-year-old Eugene Thomas Henry. Henry was found to be in possession of .18 grams of fentanyl. He was arrested on a third-degree felony charge of drug possession. He was booked at the Lake County Jail on a $2,500 bond. Oh, this guy looks familiar. He's been in trouble before. A masked homeless man was arrested after allegedly harassing guests at a local hotel. Robert Allen Carey, 37, was wearing a red cowboy hat and a golden skull mask when he set up a homeless camp underneath the stairs Saturday at the, there it is again, Microtel Inn and Suites on U.S. Highway 27 and 441, according to the arrest report of the Lady Lake Police Department. He began harassing guests and broke several lights at the hotel by removing them from the wall. The hotel's night manager called law enforcement. When police arrived, they found Carey sleeping under the stairs and wearing the mask. Attempting to conceal his identity, the report said, the lights stolen from the hotel were found in his backpack. He was arrested on a charge of burglary, theft, criminal mischief, and wearing a mask in public. Is that a law? Wearing a mask in public? Just wondering. I never heard of that. He was booked at the Lake County Jail on $3,750 bond. Carrier has a previous criminal history. He was arrested in 2023 with a stolen shopping cart. He was arrested in 2022 with a bag of marijuana in his pocket. Son, get off the drugs. A mystery joyrider left behind damage at a golf course in the Villages. Louis D'Angelo of the village of Pine Hills went down to spend the night with his girlfriend in the village of Hammock at Finney on Wednesday night during the Hurricane Milton. At about 9:30 a.m. Thursday, as the storm was passing, she spotted a white SUV drive onto the Red Fox, Gray Fox golf course. The driver, who appeared to be accompanied by a woman, briefly got out of the vehicle, walked around, touched the surface of the golf course, and drove away. She was able to capture photos of the tire tracks left behind by the mystery vehicle. The man did not appear to have any formal role with the golf course. D'Angelo said the incident was reported to Community Watch. Anybody recognize this person in these pictures, give them a call. Because all this destruction that these people do on these golf courses and things like that, us residents have to pay for. This is ridiculous. A sanitary sewer study was completed on a portion of the historic side of the village's sanitary system. The assessment results recommended system repairs to gravity sewer mains, manholes, and lateral lines. The construction phase of the Village Center Service Area Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project is scheduled to begin Tuesday, October 15th, it's already started, and conclude on March 31st. RCM Utilities will perform the work. During the duration of construction, residents should expect the following: an increase of construction vehicles and equipment, areas of excavated roadways, landscapes, and driveways, short periods of detours and one-lane traffic patterns around localized construction activity. In other words, it's going to be a cluster, you know what, for a while. Community Development District in the Villages will see some relief in a huge increase in pole rental rates demanded by Seco Energy. CDD supervisors were stunned earlier this summer by an increase of up to 600% for pole rental, prompting from CDDs to begin looking for installing their own poles, which, why not? However, it was recently announced that Seco Energy will receive approximately $100 million in federal grants and low-interest financing. Deputy District Manager Carrie Duckett on Friday told officials in the Villages that the CDDs can expect to see some financial relief thanks to the infusion of money that Seco will be receiving. Officials took some solace in the news, as they have wrestled with the problem for months and meeting with Seco officials. Ultimately, the increases will be paid by the residents of the Villages. Seco has been awarded the money aimed at supporting clean energy initiatives such as area light conversions to LED and microgrid community solar projects. Seco Energy was a co-applicant with Seminole Electric Cooperative and Sewanee Valley Electric Cooperative on empowering Rural America grant application to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which was facilitated by Ovid Solutions in Tennessee. Man, that's a mouthful. Sounds like a union negotiation, doesn't it, for a contract? Oh, we're going to do this. Well, then we're going to do that. Well, now, wait a minute. I'm going to come back. Maybe it's not going to be that much because we just found out. Yeah, right. An 84-year-old villager was arrested in a vehicle with smoking hot wheels. Concita Ann Montanese of the village of Tamarind Grove was driving a four-door Toyota Camry, which was swerving in and out of the lanes on Buena Vista Boulevard at about 8:30 p.m. October the 8th, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A 911 caller told dispatch that the car was smoking and multiple tires were flat. The shredded tires of the car were causing sparks to emit from the side due to the metal rims on asphalt, the report said. Good God. A deputy began looking for the vehicle and spotted multiple pieces of shredded tire in the roadway on Buena Vista Boulevard near St. Charles Place. By the time a deputy caught up to the vehicle, the tires were torn off the rim, leaving the rims to be balding on the asphalt. In addition, the front bumper was not intact and was hanging from the vehicle. When deputies approached the vehicle, there was a strong odor of burnt rubber, no kidding, and burning metal. Montanese, who serves as the activities chair for the Sumter Singles Club, admitted she had been drinking alcohol. She had a hard time standing, had to be assisted from falling over. The Portland, Maine native was asked to rate her level of intoxication on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being very intoxicated. "I'm not going to lie," she said. "I'm an 8. I'd say you're a definite 10. She says she has meniscal injuries in her knees. So instead of regular field sobriety exercises, she was asked to use her fingertip to touch her nose and to recite the alphabet. She failed to meet the standard of both exercises. 0.099 and 0.098 blood alcohol content. Well, that's illegal. That's considered drunk, but I got to tell you, it's not that bad to be driving a car this way. Montanese was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $500 bond. A villager crashed her new Tesla into her neighbor's home. A villager was backing her 2024 Tesla into her garage in the village of Fernandina at about 2 p.m. Tuesday when she gauged it was too far back and decided to pull it forward, according to the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. When she placed her foot on the accelerator, the electric vehicle rapidly powered forward and kept going until it crashed into the home in the 1400 block of Eligio Street. The Tesla owner suffered minor injuries and was treated at the scene by the village's public safety department. She was ticketed on a charge of careless driving. The new Tesla's Bragg, a powerful 510 horsepower engine up from 455 horsepower. It has been reported that the new Tesla can reach 60 miles per hour in just 2.9 seconds. Well, I don't doubt that a bit, but that has nothing to do with crashing your car into a house. I hate it when they do that. If you have a Corvette, all of a sudden it's a big deal. The 200-mile-an-hour car ran through a garage door. That has nothing to do with being reckless, maybe being able to drive anymore, if you know what I'm saying. Here's a brain teaser for you to try to figure out, because you know they're up to something. The Villages has filed a petition to remove 230 acres from the Wildwood city limits. South of the village of Finney, near an intersection of Warm Springs Avenue and U.S. Highway 301, the property was part of an annexation of 567 acres in March 2022. Wildwood commissioners Monday heard the first reading of an ordinance to de-annex the property, and a vote is expected later this month. The petition means that the property would become part of rural Sumter County and removed from Wildwood's comprehensive plan. Melanie Strickland, the city's development services director, said including this land in the city limits doesn't make sense because it is too far from city services. She said the de-annexation request is very unusual. De-annexing the undeveloped property will not result in other Wildwood land being non-contiguous with the rest of the city. Commissioners also approved final plats for 3 small areas of the villages of Southern Oaks near Middleton of 29, 14, and 6 acres. de-annexing for, what do you think, maybe personal reasons, or de-annexing because 200 some more acres to build villages homes on? What do you think? A vacant home in the Villages has been found to be out of compliance for the second time this year. The home of Karen Lewis at 1713 Carrera Drive in Della Vista North was back before the Community Development District 1 Board of Supervisors on Friday morning at Savannah Center. The property was up before the board in May due to overgrown grass and weeds. The home was brought back into compliance about a week later. However, another complaint was received August 21, once again, because of overgrown grass and weeds. Community Standards said the home is vacant and the homeowner has been unreachable. Community Standards has tried to contact the homeowner by phone, email, regular mail, and certified with no luck. The offense at Lewis property is now considered a reoccurring violation. If the grass is not mowed and the weeds removed within 7 days, the district will maintain the property at a cost of $250 per occurrence. Listen, getting your yard mowed around here, that's the biggest problem with this house. It's cheap. It is super cheap. You don't have to be here. You just send the company a check. Send it to them every month. Send it to them once every 3 months. Whatever you want to do. And they make sure the yard is mowed, whether you're here or not here. I don't get it. Well, this one looks kind of familiar too. It seems like the ones that cause trouble are always reoccurring, and then they reoccur again. You get to the point you know the face. A woman who lives in the Villages was attacked by her boyfriend during a golf cart ride from Walmart. The alleged attacker, 62-year-old David Robert Morgan, who lives with his parents in the village of Santo Domingo, has had a long, violent history with the woman who lives on the historic side of the Villages. In the latest incident earlier this month, they had been returning to her home from Walmart at Buffalo Ridge Plaza when Morgan apparently became enraged, according to the arrest report of Lady Lake Police Department. They were in the area of Paradise Drive and Boone Court when Morgan became aggressive and began calling her names. He ordered her out of the golf cart and snatched away her purse, injuring her left hand. He punched her in the face and used both of his hands to push her out of the golf cart. He left her standing in the roadway on Paradise Drive. He kicked her in the thigh before driving away in the golf cart. When the woman recovered and checked her purse, she found her phone was missing. She told police she and Morgan had an on-again, off-again relationship for 8 years. 8 years! She said she had stopped dating him about a month ago, but recently began speaking to him again. Morgan, who was tracked down and arrested 3 days after the alleged attack, is facing charges of theft and felony domestic battery. The Illinois native has a long history of arrests involving the woman. Last year, he got into an altercation with the woman. When police investigated the incident, Morgan admitted he had been drinking, which was a violation of his terms of his probation, which means he was arrested before that. He was arrested in 2021 after unexpectedly showing up at the woman's home, punching her 4 times near her right eye with his fist. He threw her to the ground and attempted to choke her, and yet she came back to him again. In February 2020, Morgan was arrested after the woman told law enforcement that he could be her bitch. As he punched her and held her down on a bed by her throat. You know, I'm not laughing at the incident because I know I'll get a comment about that. Stay away, young lady. Move on. A villager who called police to report a man's unwanted advances to a local restaurant has been sentenced on a drunk driving charge resulting from that night out on the town. Leslie Gwen McClure, 49, of the village of Palo Alto, pleaded no contest earlier this month in Lake County Court to a charge of driving under the influence. She had been placed on probation for 1 year, will lose her driver's license for 6 months, and was ordered to obtain an alcohol abuse evaluation. McClure was at Ramshackle. Ooh, I like Ramshackles. I'm never there that often because it's in Leesburg, but whenever we're over there, I like going to Ramshackles. McClure was at a Ramshackles cafe in Leesburg on May 23rd when she called 911 to report a possible sexual disturbance, according to the arrest report from Leesburg Police Department. A second call came into dispatch at the same time. That call came from Ramshackles staff asking to have McClure removed from the restaurant. When officers arrived on the scene, they found McClure sitting in the driver's seat of a Nissan SUV. The vehicle was running. That's arrestable right there. The New Jersey native told police that she was at the bar when a man offered to buy her a drink. As beers were being offered, buy one, get one free, they began drinking together, but McClure became uncomfortable when the man made inappropriate comments. She told the man she was going to the restroom, and that's when she called 911. She told the dispatcher the situation was unsafe. Ramshackle staffers told police McClure probably had 3 beers while at the bar. Officers spoke to McClure, and it became increasingly clear she was intoxicated. She was told that she would need to get a ride or call a taxi, and that she was in no condition to drive. She was told she could lock up her car, but could not drive it. People want to argue. I don't get it. If it was me, I'd say, okay, officer, thank you. Because my mind says I know he can arrest me, and he's trying to help me out and send me home. Because truthfully, police officers, unless you make them, they really don't want to arrest you, just like they don't want to shoot you. But they will. McClure became argumentative and uncooperative. Well, I'm shocked. She got into her SUV, started the engine, and I thought they said the engine was running. She got into her SUV and started the engine and attempted to drive away. An officer opened the vehicle's door, shut off the engine, and removed McClure. She refused to take part in the field sobriety exercises and would not provide a breath sample. She said she wanted a lawyer. Well, call them when you get to the police station, because the police doesn't have to provide you with a lawyer. And here's some more news from Florida's friendliest hometown. A villager was arrested after allegedly threatening her husband when she was armed with a large knife. Bonnie K. Schnorr, 71, of the village of Pinellas, is facing a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after threatening her husband of 20 years, according to the arrest report of the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. The husband told deputies that Schnorr woke up at about 3:30 a.m. Right away, I'm sensing dementia of some kind. October 3, and was muttering to herself. She became agitated and walked to the kitchen where she retrieved a knife. As she stood in the bedroom, she threatened to cut her husband on the neck and stomach. She was armed with the knife for about 1 hour and 10 minutes before she agreed to call her daughter. The daughter contacted law enforcement. The daughter and Schnorr's husband said she had been suffering from Parkinson's disease for about 4 years. She also had neurological dementia for about a year and a half. When Schnorr spoke to deputy, she retrieved a large-handled knife from a holder in the kitchen. She said she was concerned her husband wanted to hurt her in a mental health facility. Schnorr was taken into custody and booked at the Suffolk County Detention Center, where she was initially held without bond. Suffolk County records indicated that if Schnorr posts bond, she will be forbidden from having contact with her husband. I ain't gonna make any comments. My dad had dementia and Alzheimer's, and I know how difficult it can be to take care of them. So I'll just say good luck. Okay, how about some letters to the editor? To the editor, the villagers should change their motto from America's friendliest hometown to America's stupidest hometown. The villages is polluted with MAGA half-wits that believe that stupid 80-year-old, senile, incompetent, insurrectionist, convicted criminal, rapist is somehow qualified to be president. Oh, come on, tell us what you really feel. After Kamala Harris wipes the floor with the wannabe dictator, maybe they will finally wash their hands of this orange idiot and come to their senses. That's sent in by Michael Reynolds, Village of Hadley. Now there's a real hater right there. Must be Ed McGinty's neighbor. To the editor, there has been a person living out of a golf cart in and about Spanish Springs for the last 5 months, and I guess that is okay. Well, it's really not. What happens when a few more homeless people start doing the same thing? I can't believe I am the only one who has noticed this. How long will it be tolerated? Sent in by Dennis Corrigan, the village of La Ronalda. Well, thanks for sending that in, Dennis. The golf cart thing and people living in a golf cart, that's the first I've really ever heard of it. I didn't know that. But I'll tell you, in this week's report, you saw the guy that they arrested there at Panera Bread that looks like he ain't had a bath in a year. Somebody put graffiti on our bridge that goes across the highway up there. We villagers have to take care of that. And then he left his clothes. It was men's clothes. You can only assume it was a man underneath that tree there by the bridge. I'm thinking, Them homeless people are the problem. They're the ones doing it. Might be that person in the golf cart you are talking about. What are they going to do about it? I don't know. I know that when it comes to coming inside the villages, up to this point anyway, it's generally speaking, it's frowned upon. But this invasion here that I've talked about before happens literally every day. Most of it is kind of not stuff to worry about, but if you don't get on it, then it turns into a catastrophe. There's a lot of other things going on. How long will it be tolerated? I guess you'll have to call the developer's office about that. Seriously. Because it seems like nobody does anything to enforce any of the rules around here, the serious rules. They don't enforce them. There you go. That's my uptake on all this. Okay, I think that's going to be the news. I appreciate everybody for watching the news. I appreciate all my Patreons. I dedicate this news to my Patreons, because without them, I just wouldn't have really the extra finances it would take to finance all the stuff that I have to finance to do this. It's not a tremendous amount, but as they say, we're on a fixed income, so it really helps out a lot. If you'd like to become a Patreon member to help support the channel and the work that we do here, and it is a lot of work for just the news. I don't want to, complain. I'm not complaining. I'm just letting you know information. It takes 2 to 3 days for me to cut this news. There's a lot to it. Be a Patreon member if you want. Be a YouTube member if you want. YouTube, I think the cheapest you can get in is $5 a month. Patreon, the cheapest you can get in is $2 a month, and that goes up from there. Try it for $2 for a month or two. See what you think. If you like it and you think it's worth more, you can always raise it to $5. Become a Patreon member. What I will do is I'll send you a free link to my Discord. Discord is where everybody goes. It's members and members only. So you don't have to worry about going there and listening to anybody threatening anybody or whatever. These are all my members. They're super people, very knowledgeable. A lot of them live here in the villages. Some don't, but that's where they go and they ask each other questions. Where did you get this landscaper? Who painted your house? All these little things. And it helps out a lot. So go there, become a Patreon member. I'll send you the Discord link. You go sign up for that. You only got to do it once. Go there. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the support we can get on this channel. And with that being said, I'm going to say it again. Beware. Be safe. Stay healthy. Be aware.
And don't leave your key in your golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.